I got some questions about your report. I just want to help you a little bit figure out some things about your research question. So I know that most people are doing a research question about how an invention has changed society. So I'm just going to show you one of the things that you might want to look at in terms of how to help narrow your question. So the first one that I want to show you is this. Okay, it's going to pop out over here. And this is something that I found online, and it's about narrowing your research question. So you'll see here a person starts with a broad subject of history. So that's kind of like what you're looking at. And then your broad topic is probably, the effect of, technology on society. And then you're going to have to start to come to a context. So you see this person's was history, then they were looking at US foreign policy. They have to bring their context down, and I'm going to talk to you about context in a second, but they have to narrow that context a little bit. So this person got pretty specific here. Counterterrorism under Bush 2000 through 2005. So after, what was happening around before and after the Twin Towers, attack. Then the specific topic from there. Okay, so of counterterrorism, how Bush went against terrorism, the use of lethal force against Iraqi militia. They're pulling it down, and then the person writes some different questions. What was the U.S. policy about using lethal force against terrorism before Bush? Did Bush order the use of lethal force? What logic did he have for doing it? How effective was it? And then ultimately, he put down his final kind of question, which is what lethal force did the Bush administration use against Iraqi militia, and how effective was it at countering the threat they posed? So that's what one student writes. So you might be in a very different situation where you're looking at the effect of an invention on society, and then you're going to have the specific invention, then something a little bit more specific about that invention's effect, and then you're going to write some questions and try to put together a question. So if you're struggling with searching, it might be because your research focus is just too broad. All right. To help you narrow down context, you can use this tool. I found this online and I really like it a lot. So it's a context map that explores the topic of homelessness. So you can see this person was like, okay, here's my big topic, homelessness, but I need a context to go back into that section where we showed you, like, who are we talking about? Do you want to talk about veterans who are homeless, families, teens, women and children? And then once you're there, what are some of the things around it, runaway teens or teens on drugs, and narrowing that context down even further. So you'll notice that context is that green piece right over here. So you can kind of toggle back between those two documents to help you figure out how to search, right? So that's just things that can help you. Another one, if you really are wanting to become a better researcher, there's some examples here of people who narrowed research questions. So, and this can also help you to write your research question a little bit more in a more focused way. Once you've got that research question narrowed down, then you're better off looking at sources. I generally recommend that you search the internet first and then the digital library, because you are able to learn more around your topic. So I gave you some information in the last video about doing that in terms of Edpuzzle. There's some a little bit more things that can help you, just general stuff that if you ever want to look at, that will help you. Again, using the advanced searches that I talked to you about, and then using general press sources to generate research questions. And here's a little, just like a guide, like Cornell notes that have already been taken, but talk a little bit about how you can find search terms that you can then use in the digital library. And then finally, you might go to that digital library here you have a little bit of information about how to do that. And there's a helpful handout. You probably don't need this about peer review process. It's a little more than you need right now. A little basic video made by somebody about how to search a digital library. And of course, you can always ask for help. So these are some sources that are out there. We talked a little bit about evaluating sources as well, but I just want to provide you this extra support. And I'm also going to link to this website that I made that will hopefully help you. So again, it's we started out with narrowing your topic, then we looked at searching the internet, and then we went to using the digital library. Now those are kind of small here, but that's what it was. So narrowing, searching, and digital library. So I'm going to put that up there with this, and I'll let your teacher know, and that might help you get a little bit more focus, because before you can do a good search, you need to know your search terms, and before you can know your search terms, you need to narrow your topic.